The next would be Senate Bill 849. That's Senator Chase's bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. This is a bill you've not seen before with Senate Bill 849 as it pertains to smart meters. And I actually heard about this issue this November over Thanksgiving break when I got phone calls from constituents who said that their meter had been completely cut off their power. And I quickly said, "Did you pay your bill?" And they said, "Absolutely, I did." What I'm finding out is that there's a group called Virginians for Safe Technology based out of Fredericksburg who has done a lot of research on these smart meters. And I've got a handout. Hobie, thank you for passing that out. And I'd also like to, I probably need to adopt a substitute before I get going too far.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All right, there's a motion and a second to adopt a substitute to Senate Bill 849. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, bills before us.
So
Substitutes before us.
we passed, as you remember, the Grid Transformation Act. And as a result of that, it's supposed to be more efficient. It's supposed to allow Dominion Energy and other utility companies to quickly get the read electronically so they're not having to physically walk on people's properties. It's supposed to be in better technology. But in actuality, what I'm finding from constituents is they have a lot of health issues that are coming from these smart meters. And I have experts here who can talk about that, but I just want to give you a quick overview of the bill. There have been reported incidences of these smart meters catching on fire on people's homes, which is a great concern, to the point where this group was formed. Again, I want to call it's Virginians for Safe Technology, and they're all the experts here in the room today who are going to talk about this. But I'm very concerned about this one thing. There is no informed consent to get a smart meter. And in fact, on my own home, I didn't realize that they had already installed a smart meter on my home. My husband didn't consent. I didn't consent. And I'm finding out this is pervasive. As I sent out a press release earlier today, people saying, you know what, I didn't even know that a smart meter was attached on my home. So what is the issue here? Under the current law, the way it's situated, it is not an opt-in program, it's an opt-out program. So I've spoken to a number of members of Dominion. I said, you know what, if this is such a great program, let's put a commercial out there for Dominion saying what a wonderful service this provides and all the benefits, and people can opt in, they can call this number, and they can opt into the program. But that's not the way it is right now. And in fact, I've even had customers who were bullied when they tried to go back to the analog meter because they did not want the current smart meter that was on there because of a number of reasons, included those that I listed. And they want those smart meters off of their house. They want to go back to the older technology, the electromechanical analog meter. And I've sat down with Dominion a number of times, and they said, no, you're going to have to opt out, or we're going to kill your bill. We're going to not support your bill. And I think that's wrong. I think that consumers should have the ability to consent when new devices, new technologies attached to their home. Look, I understand easements. When you buy your home, you can see as the consumer, you have implied consent because you understand.
Trying to wrap it up.
Yes, I will wrap it up. The whole point of this bill is that we need consumer consent on this bill. Okay. And I have a couple of experts that I would like, if they could, to quickly come up and speak on the behalf of this bill. I told them it would be quick. And if you'll just identify who you are and why you're so good at what you do, your expertise. Go ahead.
Do you want me to do this or just?
I would just do it from heart. Just do it quickly as you can.
Okay. My name is Mary Bauer, and I'm a retired radio frequency engineer with over 2.5 decades of work experience.
Can you get closer to the mic?
Oh, closer. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. 2.5 decades of experience working with the Department of Defense. I am now the technical advisor for the consumer advocacy group, Virginians for Safe Technology. Our organization only supports this bill as amended by Senator Chase, with the essential addition of other non-wireless choices for an opt-out, including analog and Ethernet connections. If you look in your package on page 2, there's a consumer chart that shows 10 reasons why consumers don't like smart meters. And you see there's all check marks in the analog column, and X's in all the other columns because there's no benefit to the consumer. This is purely about data collection and the new gold called green button CMD technology functionality. The radio frequency radiation from smart meters is inescapable, unavoidable, pervasive, and invasive. Smart meters violate our personal space with respect to physical safety, security, privacy, cybersecurity, and can adversely impact health. Smart meters are incendiary devices. With no ground and no surge protection for fire safety, basic electronics 101, exposing customers to high-impact, high-risk liabilities that are subrogated to them, to these devices, exposing customers to high-impact, high-risk liabilities subrogated to them due to these device design omissions. Yet customers are coerced, penalized, threatened with loss of power if they refuse to accept one of these electrically substandard AMI smart meters that are then recklessly installed under load and hot. That means they don't shut your power off before they install them. They make your sockets hot and weaken the integrity of the wall sockets attached to the house. These behaviors violate the Consumer Protection Act rights to safety, to be informed, to choice, and to seek remedy for unfair business practices. With all these risks and more, wouldn't you want a safer choice? Please support this bill as amended by Senator Chase. See our bill packet for additional information. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Mr. Chairman, right here.
Senator Bell.
You referenced the chart on page 2.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some footnotes on it, but I didn't see anything that backs up the lifespan. Where's the source for that?
That is from First Energy, Mr. Gaines, the financial CEO of that company, and he said it's a refresh just like a computer or a smartphone. It's a refresh because of the software, which these smart meters are driven by software. The hardware is incidental to the software. So you know how many times you have to get a new cell phone, a new laptop, a new iPad. It's all because of the electronic circuitry inside this phone or inside this smart meter is just like a computer. It's a circuit card.
We need to kind of move it along to wrap
Yeah,
it up.
I was just answering the question.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I mean, everything is in the packet. My testimony is the last set of pages, last 3 pages. And right before that is a technical brief. It's very graphical and visual, and it shows you about the RFR exposures and the RF mesh. A lot of people don't realize that there is electrosmog that is draped over our houses. Each set of devices you use creates a bubble. Each set of houses or house creates a bubble. There's a bubble around the neighborhood. That's on page 2 of the tech brief CAD model. And it shows what that RF mesh is, the RFR that we're exposed to.
Thank you.
Yep,
Okay, next.
it's all on the package. Thank you.
Members of the committee, I'm Charlie Froman, Williamsburg resident and lobbyist for National Health Federation. And my handout also has that side-by-side chart on the back. And to put it simply, the half-dozen Virginians disconnected last fall by Dominion do not want either the smart meter on the left column or the so-called opt-out meter in the middle column. Both of them suffer the same demerits, and those of us who want safe meters want the right column, the analog meter, which only can be offered if you pass SB 849. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next.
I'm Dr. Barbara Zedler, a Virginia physician and scientific researcher, and I'm here on behalf of the Virginia Medical Freedom Alliance to clarify the evidence about the human health harms of radio frequency radiation, RFR, from wireless meters. The majority of published, peer-reviewed scientific studies and the weight of the evidence leave no doubt that these harms are proven. Numerous court cases and government agencies' rulings since 1990 have acknowledged that both the inadequacy of the outdated FCC exposure safety limits for RF radiation and the serious health harms from particularly long-term low-level exposure. Unlike cell phones that you can turn off, these meters on your house run 24/7, 365 for years on end, and the homeowner cannot turn them off. The D.C. Court of Appeals ruled in August of 2021 that the FCC's RF radiation maximal permissible exposure safety limits were, quote, arbitrary and capricious and not science-based. After evaluating 11,000 pages of evidence of profound harmful effects and widespread sickness from wireless technology at exposure levels well below the FCC limits. Yep. In fact, the insurance industry has ranked the risk of radio frequency radiation from wireless devices as high and excludes coverage for damage in commercial policies, including those to cell phone manufacturers. This is an issue of control versus freedom. I urge you to vote yes to allowing homeowners to make a truly informed and voluntary decision about what to expose their bodies and the bodies of their families to inside their own homes. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, is there opposition to the bill?
If anyone would like to speak in opposition to this bill, please raise your hand electronically.
Mr. Chairman, Bill Murray with Dominion Energy. I was just looking back at our smart meter program. We did an event in Senator Deeds' district in 2009, 14 years ago, to kick off our pilot program in Charlottesville and Albemarle. We have been very thoughtfully deploying this program over the years. We've been in front of the Corporation Commission numerous times. The advantage of a smart meter, quite candidly, is we know when your power's out, you don't have to call 866 DOM help. The smart meter transmits about 1% of the time. It has a radio frequency that is the rough equivalent of a device that many of us have in our pockets or otherwise on our persons. We would respectfully, and I'm not a physician, I'd be the first to say I would respectfully disagree based on what the industry's views would be. And as I said, it's been in front of regulators for 14 years that there are any health impacts. However, there is an opt-out provision. We have 2.7 million customers in Virginia and North Carolina. We've deployed about 1.5 million smart meters over the last 14 years. That's a lagging number. It might be a little higher now. Less than 1% have opted out. We do have a protocol that's approved by the commission on how you go about opting out of smart meters. I will say it would be having a major policy change to opt in 14 years in the deployment of this program would be problematic. For those reasons, we respectfully oppose the bill.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you. Senator Spruill.
couple of questions.
Yes, sir.
On the smart meter as far as the consent, the customer, do you have to get their consent for them to put the smart meter on?
We got approval from the Corporation Commission. The customer can opt out. It's not an opt-in program. We don't get the customer's consent, but the customer can opt out. The regulator gave consent. Yes.
No, my question is this. So you're saying you can put the smart meter on my thing without me even asking you if I don't want it. You're saying you can put it on there anyway, and then I got to go to the hoops to opt out?
You would need to opt out under current law, Senator Spruill.
But you can put it, Mr. Chairman, but I don't want it on there. So you're saying you can put it on there anyway, and I don't want it on there. That's what you're saying?
Tell them. You can call them up and tell them.
No, that's not what he's saying. My
Yes,
question
you can.
was-
If you don't want it, again, we didn't just start deploying these recently. We've been deploying them since 2009. If a customer is concerned and doesn't want smart meters, we send notification sort of when we're going to new geographic areas. We don't do them a house at a time. We do them a geographic area at a time. We do try to notify people that we're doing the installation. If people want to opt out, all you've got to do is call us. And then
This tells you when, hold on, Senator.
Yes, sir.
By having a smart meter, you know when they've lost their power.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I understand that. Without all the questions, I'm saying at my house,
Yes, sir.
if you come to my house without asking me, so you're saying the smart meter we put on my house, I haven't asked you to do it. I don't want you to do it. So you're saying it's put on there anyway, and then I got to go to all these hoops to opt out of it. I didn't ask you to put it on there. So you cannot say to me, I'm saying, sir, I thank you so much, sir, but I don't want it. I don't want it on my. From the initial start, that's my question. From the initial start, the man pulls up, and from this start, I said, what are you doing, sir? And I said, no, sir, I don't want that on my meter. Can I tell you that?
I would be not our protocol if the homeowner has not notified us and we're going to install the smart meter and the line workers or the other technicians were told, I don't want this on there, they would drive away and we would regroup at that point.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
In our protocol.
Okay, you finished?
Yes, sir.
All right, next.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, Blair with Climate Cabinet Action. Smart meters do play a critical role in upgrading and modernizing our grid, and I would echo the comments made by Dominion. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, members of the committee, as Blair said, Kim Jermaine with Advanced Energy United, as Blair said, smart meters are essential to ensuring a flexible and reliable grid, and we oppose the legislation.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, John Morris, Appalachian Power. We also oppose the legislation and would note to the committee that we're at about 100% implementation of smart meters in our service territory. That service and convenience is very much appreciated by the customers. So again, we oppose the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, Stephanie Kane with Old Dominion Electric Cooperative. We respectfully oppose this bill. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, could we have folks in the room who are here to support the bill just to stand and show support
All right.
of
Those
the
who
bill?
support the bill, please stand. Okay. Thank you. All right, the bill's before us. Is there a motion? There's a motion and a second to pass by indefinitely Senate Bill 849. All those in favor of passing by indefinitely, vote aye. Those opposed, vote nay.
Thank you.
Ayes 14, noes 1.
The bill is passed by indefinitely. All right. Senator Hackworth, you were here first, and then Senator McPike will be next, followed by Senator Reeves.
Isn't Dominion Energy pocket? Isn't they pocket?
Sir?
What did he say?
Like folks with smart energy. You gotta be in their pocket because you're not listening. I used to work for them and put in thousands of these meters. These things is dangerous. Don't touch me, man. Don't touch me, though. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Wait, Kirsten.
Oh, well.
Mr. Chairman, I move to move the